The stars outside the viewport drifted like frozen embers. The research vessel Karnoth's edge moved through the black with the patience of something that had long since forgotten urgency. Inside its sterile decks, the hum of containment fields and life support systems was the only sign of life, until the scanner began to scream. Dr. Threx's mandibles twitched as he studied the display. The readout shimmered between static and clarity, refusing to settle on a classification. Organic, he muttered, his 3 eyes narrowing. But not catalogued. Not even partially. Captain Rel stepped closer, broad and calm despite the tension crawling through the air. His scales caught the dull light of the consoles, each movement deliberate. "Coordinates?" he asked. "Right beneath the planetary crust," Threx replied. "Deep stasis chamber, sealed within metallic debris. Estimated age, 10,000 standard years." Varen, the youngest technician, clicked his throat nervously. That world's been dead since before the second founding. Nothing should be alive there. Rel gave no answer. He merely watched as the blackened planet turned beneath them, its surface scarred, its atmosphere long gone. The sensors painted ghostly outlines of ruins that once clawed at the sky. Hours later, the retrieval bay opened to receive a coffin of ancient alloy. The object was sleek, human-shaped, preserved in a glassy cocoon of crystallized frost. Steam rose around it as it thawed, whispering against the cold metal walls. Varen approached first, hesitant. "It's humanoid." Threx's claws danced across the console, collecting data. DNA sequence incompatible with all known archives. The computer flags it as error after error. Rel folded his arms, tail curling. "Non-compatible how?" Threx hesitated, as if it never existed. But the morphology, musculature, symmetry, this being was engineered for survival. He paused, then added in a quieter tone, "For killing." The lights dimmed slightly, a low hum running through the ship. Rel's instincts flared, the kind of primal awareness that once kept his ancestors alive in swamps filled with fanged predators. "Something's wrong," he said. Across the room, small containment cages began to rattle. Inside, the ship's experimental fauna, scaled predators bred for combat studies, were thrashing in blind panic. Claws scraped steel, tails lashed. They tried to hide, to burrow, to flee. Varen backed away from the pod. "They're reacting to it," he whispered. Threx's frills flattened. "Impossible. It's unconscious." "Then why does everything alive on this ship suddenly want to die rather than be near it?" Rel's voice was low, dangerous. Threx looked at the cryopod again, as if it had spoken. The figure inside was male, bare chest crisscrossed with faded scars, features sharp and unreadable under the frost. His hair floated slightly in the preservation fluid, silvered but untouched by decay. The scanner emitted a single tone. A new message scrolled across the console. "Genetic signature unidentified. Matches no known species. Caution. Predator recognition response detected." Varen whispered. "What does that mean?" Threx didn't answer immediately. He glanced at Rel, then back to the pod. "It means every predatory genome in the database recognizes this being as a superior threat. Instinctively. Even before conscious evaluation." Rel exhaled slowly. "A myth." Threx tilted his head. "A myth." The captain's eyes drifted toward the old banners on the wall, the emblems of fallen empires, the names of extinct races. "My grandmother told stories of a species that rose from prey to ruler. They burned worlds that tried to cage them. The archives called them the Burned Ones." Threx scoffed. "Children's tales." "Then why do your hands tremble?" Rel asked. The scientist froze. His claws indeed trembled against the console. He forced them still and turned away. "We'll proceed with the analysis. No superstitions." Rel's gaze lingered on the pod. The human, if that's what it was, seemed peaceful, serene. But there was something beneath that calmness, something vast and old and patient. They transferred the pod to the medbay. The lights dimmed further as power rerouted to thawing protocols. The frost receded like breath leaving glass, revealing skin beneath, pale, unblemished, and too perfect for something that had slept through ages. Varen spoke quietly. Permission to increase sedation? Denied, Threx said. We need to monitor natural revival. Rel's jaw tightened. You're gambling with something we don't understand. Threx's eyes flashed with academic hunger. Understanding requires risk. Minutes stretched into hours. The hum of the ship deepened, an almost biological pulse echoing through the hull. In the holding cages, the predators had gone utterly silent, pressed flat against the walls. Even the air itself seemed heavier. Threx adjusted the sensor array. Brain activity, minimal but rising. Neural patterns complex. Beyond our standard mapping. Captain, I think it's dreaming. Rel frowned. About what? Threx smiled faintly. Perhaps about the world that killed it. The computer's tone changed again, sharper now. Heart rate escalating. Energy readings spiking. Varen stepped back. That's too fast, shut it down. I can't, Threx hissed, hands flying across the controls. It's overriding the field. How is that possible? The glass of the cryopod vibrated, then cracked with a soft, crystalline sound. Steam hissed through the break. The being's chest rose once, then again, slower, deliberate. Rel's instinct screamed. He took a step forward, hand on his weapon though he knew it wouldn't matter. The creature inside opened its eyes. For a moment no one moved. The air turned cold, the hum of the ship vanished, and even the lights seemed to hesitate. The gaze that met them wasn't confused or panicked, it was aware. Measured. Predatory. Threx whispered, barely breathing. By the stars it knows. Rel couldn't look away. He'd seen fear, rage, reverence, but never all three in the same instant. He realized, with a quiet horror, that whatever had been lost to history had not truly died. It had been waiting. The figure inside the pod raised a hand, fingertips brushing against the cracked glass. Frost melted beneath his touch. Every system on the ship flickered. The containment locks disengaged. Rel's voice broke the silence. Seal the chamber. Too late. The glass split entirely, shards hissing into vapor. The being inhaled deeply, as if tasting the air of a forgotten world. He looked at them, three aliens standing frozen before him, and the corner of his mouth curved in something that wasn't quite a smile. Threx's data pad fell to the floor, the screen flashing one final line before it died. Subject conscious. Species classification human. Rel's throat felt dry. The word echoed through his mind like a long-buried truth clawing its way back to light. The human's eyes focused on him, calm but ancient. There was no threat in his voice when he finally spoke, just inevitability. Where, he asked softly, is everyone? The ship's lights dimmed to darkness, and every predator aboard trembled in silence. The air in the medbay smelled of ozone and heated metal. The human, now upright and unrestrained, moved with an ease that made even Rel's tail stiffen. His movements were economical, precise, as though every muscle had been forged for survival and calculation rather than comfort. He regarded the three alien men with a calm scrutiny that made Threx shuffle in place. Name, the human demanded, voice low and resonant, carrying an authority that did not need explanation. I am Captain Rel, Rel said, stepping forward, head slightly lowered in deference, but not fear. This is Dr. Threx, xenobiologist, and Varen, technician. The human's dark eyes flicked toward each of them, scanning posture, tone, even scent. Coordinates, he said. Varen stammered. We are aboard Karnoth's edge, orbiting, the planet Karnoth 7. He nodded once. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, not comprehension. His gaze returned to Rel. Pray, he said, almost casually, as if tasting the word. Rel stiffened. Threx hissed softly. Varen's claws flexed involuntarily. It was the first recognition of instinctual hierarchy. The word alone carried weight. Prey? Threx echoed, eyes wide. We are not prey. Not in any sense. The human's expression did not change. You carry the scent, he said, tilting his head slightly, as if smelling the truth on the air. Fear embedded. Blood memory. I can read it. Rel took a slow breath. So, you are aware of instincts. I am aware of survival, the human corrected. Survival and consequence. You should be careful with the word prey. Varn fidgeted with the console. Your species. What are you? DNA scans. Human. The human interrupted, flat and unyielding. Human. Extinct. Myth. Error. Call it what you like. Threx recoiled. Extinct? Myth? You can't. This is impossible. No human has been alive for 10,000 years. The human's lips quirked. Impossible is a matter of perspective. I survived. That is fact. His gaze drifted to the observation window, to the stars beyond, as if measuring them. Your predators fear me, without understanding why. This curiosity will kill some of you eventually. Rel studied him. He felt the weight of those words pressing down, not like a threat, but as a statement of immutable truth. Every predator aboard the ship. You can sense them? The human nodded. Instinct is universal. It responds before consciousness. I do not even need to act. They know. Threx's claws scraped nervously along the table. But you're just one human. One body. How can that influence them? The human's eyes darkened. Because you forget what humans were. The apex predator that learned from every predator before it. Every bite, claw, and talon that ever sought to hunt us left a mark. Not in myth. Not in legend. In DNA. Rel shifted. You are saying humanity engineered fear into predators? The human's gaze hardened. Not engineered. Survived. Adapted. Imprinted. Every predator that hunted us, every predator we hunted, their instincts carry memory of the hunt. You are all prey, but you do not remember. Varn swallowed. So, every predator we've studied, every bioengineered guard, it recognizes you as superior? Instinctively. Without thought. Without hesitation. Prey recognizes threat. Threat obeys instinct. You are aware of me because you must be. But I am aware of you because I can read it all. Threx's frills rattled. This defies all logic. Evolution cannot encode. Rel raised a clawed hand. Enough. Let him speak. Let us understand him first. The human crouched slightly, leaning forward, as if tasting the room. You think you are in control because you trapped me in glass. I have been trapped before. I have seen stars die, civilizations fall. Fear is survival. You carry it in your veins because it is written by the universe itself. And I am the echo of that writing. Varn backed against the wall, claws clicking nervously. You mean we are prey? Yes, the human said simply. No malice, no mockery. Just observation. And you have been for longer than you know. Until now. Rel's jaw tightened. Until now. The human straightened. His shadow stretched across the floor, vast and composed. Until now, humanity was absent. History tried to forget it. My body remained. My mind remained. Prey became predator. And now the galaxy will remember. Threx's voice was barely a hiss. You survived Earth's extinction, the Great Hunt. I survived, the human repeated, a statement heavier than any threat. I carried the memory. And memory is survival. Memory is dominance. Rel took a deep breath, measuring the air, the space, the tension coiling like a living thing. You are extraordinary, he admitted. But why awaken now? The human's dark eyes glimmered. Because the predators are restless. Because the universe needs a reminder. Because my species is not gone. Not yet. Varn's claws flexed against the table. And what will you do when they come for you? The human tilted his head. I do not wait for them. They come for me, I will be ready. Every predator that has ever feared humans will remember why. And the ones that never feared, they will learn quickly. Rel felt the truth settle in the pit of his stomach. This was no longer a subject of study. This was a force of nature, condensed into one man. Threx's three eyes flickered between fascination and terror. We must contain him, record him, study him, understand the mechanism. The human stepped toward the observation window. You may try, he said, voice calm but resolute, but containment does not change what I am. Prey becomes predator. History cannot be erased. Rel's tail lashed once, a subtle sign of unease. Then we must choose, ally with him, or become part of the history he remembers. The human's gaze fell on the three of them, sharp and unyielding. Time will tell who survives. But mark my words, every predator in the galaxy will feel what I am. And some will remember to fear. A warning, not a threat. The medbay lights flickered as the human turned, pacing with the fluidity of someone fully aware of his own power. Varan whispered to Threx, "Do you think he's dangerous?" Threx did not answer immediately. He studied the human carefully, noting every movement, every breath, every instinctual reaction. Finally, he muttered, "Dangerous? He is evolution in motion, and we may not be ready to face it." Rel's gaze followed the human as he paused at the central console. He did not touch anything. He merely observed, measuring. And in that silence, the captain realized the truth. The galaxy had forgotten humans, but humans had not forgotten themselves. The human's eyes lifted toward the viewport, stars reflecting in his dark irises. He whispered to no one in particular, yet every creature aboard could feel the weight of the words. Let them remember. Outside, the galaxy waited. Within the medbay, the predators held their breath. And humanity's echo began to stir. The hum of the medbay felt heavier now, charged with an almost tangible tension. Threx's claws danced over the console, trying to decipher the anomalies that the human had awakened. Heart rates of the predators on board fluctuated, neural readings spiking uncontrollably. Every sensor, every probe, every scanner screamed the same truth. The human was a catalyst, and the universe's instincts were responding in ways no science could explain. "Look at this," Threx said, voice tight with awe and unease. Every apex predator aboard the ship, engineered or natural, they're showing panic responses. Flight, avoidance, submission. Instinct overrides training. This is unprecedented. Rel's scaled hand hovered over the console. "Explain it without the scientific flourish. What does this mean in practical terms?" Threx hesitated, clawed digits tracing the spike patterns. "It means he carries something in his physiology, a resonance pattern embedded deep within his DNA. Something that triggers fear in predators. Not consciously, biochemically, psychologically. It's ancient, like a memory encoded into the very cells of other species." Varan's eyes widened. Memory encoded in DNA? That's impossible. DNA doesn't store behavioral instinct at that level. The human, seated calmly on the edge of the examination table, observed them with quiet amusement. "Impossible is what you call anything your mind cannot yet grasp. I call it survival. You see the predators, and you assume I affect them by action or threat. But you forget, fear is a language older than any of your machines." Rel felt a chill as the words sank in. "You mean your presence alone is enough to dominate them?" The human's gaze met his, unwavering. They recognized the pattern. The apex predator that hunted me, or was hunted by me, left a trace in the galaxy's bloodlines. You call it instinct. I call it memory. And I am the reminder. Threx's frills quivered. "Then you're biologically superior to anything aboard this ship. Every experiment we've run, every genetically enhanced predator cannot override what your body triggers automatically." The human nodded once. "Correct. And the galaxy has long forgotten this. My species was erased from history, but not from consequence. Every predator, every hunter, every apex creature that once roamed the stars carries the residue of what humans demanded of them." Varan whispered, Are you saying humans were apex predators?" "Yes," he said, voice calm, almost indifferent. "Prey learned the predator's mind. Predator learned fear. We encoded the universe with our survival instinct. And now I am here. The first echo of what was forgotten. Rel's claws flexed tightly. If what you say is true, then you're not just alive. You are dangerous beyond comprehension. The human rose, walking to the center of the room. Every movement was measured, silent, yet commanding. The predators in their cages shifted, pressed flat against the walls, tails tucked, claws retracting. Even the most aggressive of the genetically engineered beasts avoided direct eye contact. Threx could barely breathe. How do you control them without even touching them? The human looked at the scientist, dark eyes glinting. Control? I do not control. I exist. They respond. It is as simple as life itself. Fear is instinct. Instinct obeys survival. Survival obeys memory. Varen's tail twitched nervously. And if someone tried to attack you? The human's lips curved faintly. They would fail. Every predator that has ever hunted a human carries a cautionary imprint in its genes. Their first reaction is to flee or hesitate. Even when trained otherwise, biology overrides thought. Even when confronted with me, your guards and your cages cannot deny instinct. Rel's mind reeled. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not only survived extinction, they had embedded themselves in the cosmos at the deepest, most primal levels. Every hunter, every predator in the galaxy had been conditioned, intentionally or otherwise, to recognize humans as apex. Threx hissed, claws rapping nervously. This is why legends spoke of the burned ones. You weren't just survivors. You were teachers of fear. Apex predators who left an echo in every creature. The human's gaze turned inward, almost reflective. Yes, fear is the oldest lesson, and it survives where records and empires fail. You study me because you see anomaly, but I am proof that survival carries memory, and memory carries power. Rel took a step closer, still wary, still unsure. And the galaxy? The others? The warlords who eradicated your kind? What happens when they learn you exist again? A shadow crossed the human's features, faint but present. They will remember. They will feel it before they understand it. Instinct cannot be denied, and every predator will recall what humans were capable of. Some will flee. Some will hesitate too long. He paused, scanning the room, and a few will learn too late that they underestimated the echo of extinction. Varen swallowed audibly. And what about us? The human's gaze fell on the three men. You are not yet tested. You have seen only the beginnings of what I carry. Your minds and instincts are still intact. But be warned, if the predators in your midst have been trained to ignore instinct, they will still respond to me. Fear does not require reason, and consequence does not wait for comprehension. Threx adjusted the scanning arrays, attempting to parse every neural spike, every pheromonal reading, every tremor in the room. I need to record this. Analyze it. Understand the mechanism. If what you say is true, it will change everything we know about evolution and predation. The human tilted his head, regarding him with patience. Understanding is irrelevant until it has survived. You may dissect me, measure me, attempt to classify me, but instinct is not subject to your machines. It is older, deeper, more absolute. Rel clenched his jaw, tail flicking with a subtle tension. Then we are at a crossroads. We either ally with what we cannot understand or risk being consumed by it, or by what it provokes. The human's eyes met his again, dark and unwavering. Do not mistake observation for alliance. I am not here to follow. I am here to remind. Prey becomes predator. The hunter becomes hunted. And the echo of humanity cannot be silenced again. A sudden alert flared on the console, a distant warship, broadcasting an unidentified signature. The predators on board shifted restlessly, tails lashing, claws flexing in suppressed panic. Threx's voice trembled. They've detected us. The Syndicate. They want custody of the unknown organism. Rel's eyes narrowed. They don't know what they're coming for. And neither do they understand what we are hosting. The human stood, muscles coiling beneath perfect symmetry. Let them come, he said, voice low, calm, and commanding. Every predator that hunts them will hesitate, every hunter will falter, and some will never fire a weapon again. They will remember the first prey that became predator, and they will learn fear before they understand it. The hum of the medbay deepened, resonating like a heartbeat larger than the ship. Every predator remained still, silent, and obedient to instinct rather than command. The human's presence had become the axis around which the room's reality tilted. Varen whispered, almost to himself, "We can't contain him." Threx nodded reluctantly. Containment is meaningless. Observation is dangerous. And understanding may be impossible. The Syndicate warship loomed like a jagged shadow against the black expanse, engines thrumming with a menace born of conquest. Alarms blared aboard the Karnoth's edge, but the predators on deck did not stir, except to shrink back, instinct screaming in silent recognition. Eron Vale stepped from the medbay, unarmed, calm, and deliberate. Every muscle in his body radiated confidence, every movement a testament to survival honed over millennia. Captain Rel fell into step beside him, uneasy yet compelled to follow. "They'll fire the moment we're within range," Rel warned, voice tight. Eron did not glance at him. "They may try," he said, voice low and measured, "but instinct will betray them before thought does. Watch." The docking bay doors hissed open. Syndicate soldiers, carnivorous, scaled, bred for war, swarmed across the bridge. Weapons locked on the human. Every trained predator readied itself to attack. Yet the second Eron's gaze met theirs, a tremor ran through the ranks. Fingers hesitated on triggers, claws retracted, tails twitched. Subconscious panic ignited before conscious decision. Threx muttered from the control console, It's as if their instincts have overridden all training. They recognize him as superior." Varen's eyes widened. Superior, or a living predator encoded into every gene they carry? Eron's calm voice carried across the bay. "Stand down or flee. Nature's memory is stronger than orders." The Syndicate commander, large, armored, and confident, growled, attempting to assert control. "Step forward, human. You will come with us." Eron's gaze flicked toward him, dark and unflinching. "You speak the words of a predator who forgot fear. But instinct will remind you." He stepped closer. The soldiers shifted, an almost imperceptible retreat, though none consciously acknowledged it. Rel felt a chill coil around his spine. "He's manipulating them without moving." "No," Eron corrected. "I am not manipulating. I exist. Instinct responds. Fear is encoded, and it responds faster than thought. You will see it yourself." The warlord bellowed, advancing with a group of soldiers, claws raised, weapons primed. Eron tilted his head. A single exhale, almost inaudible, and the soldiers faltered mid-step. Eyes widened, jaws slackened. Those bred for aggression froze, tails curling, limbs trembling. The commander roared, attempting to regain control, but the effect rippled outward, paralysis born of primal terror. "Impossible," Threx whispered. "No predator should hesitate like this. They were trained, enhanced. Nothing should override that instinct." Eron's voice carried over the trembling throng. "You hunt without remembering why you feared. I remind you, prey becomes predator. Hunter becomes hunted. And you are both." Rel stepped closer, watching as the commander's own soldiers pressed back, unsure, terrified of a single unarmed human. "He's rewriting their instincts in real time," Rel murmured. Eron advanced another step, each movement measured, precise. "Do you understand now?" he asked the commander. "You sought to eradicate my species. You believed we were extinct. You were wrong." The commander's tail twitched violently, a signal of instinctual panic. His claws flexed uselessly on his weapons as the biological memory of generations of prey overtook his training. Eron's eyes darkened. "I am the echo of every predator that hunted humanity. Every fear encoded in their blood awakens now." Varen whispered, voice barely audible. "They're paralyzed completely." Threx's claws scraped the console. He doesn't need to fight. His presence alone is weapon enough. Eron exhaled slowly, a predator's calm, centuries in the making. I will not kill you, he said to the commander, because understanding must come before consequence. But you will remember. Every predator will remember the first human who survived extinction and returned. The commander fell to his knees instinctively, unable to move, unable to breathe without hesitation. The other soldiers froze mid-step, some collapsing, tails curled, eyes wide. Eron stepped closer, unhurried, each step reinforcing the genetic imprint of fear. Rel felt a mix of awe and terror. He could wipe them out without a weapon, he said, voice tight. Every predator in the galaxy, they'd react the same way. Eron paused near the kneeling commander. My species was thought extinct, erased from history. But history cannot erase memory. I am here to remind the universe what humans were and what we will be again. Threx whispered, more to himself than anyone else. This changes everything. Evolution, predation, dominance, the galaxy itself has underestimated humans for millennia. The human turned, finally, to the bridge crew. His eyes lingered on Rel, Threx, and Varen. You may have questions, but survival is not a question. It is action. You will witness the consequences of memory awakened. You will choose, stand with me, or be swept aside. Rel's tail flicked, a subtle signal of decision. We stand with you, he said. But what now? The Syndicate warship, what do we do? Eron's gaze lifted toward the viewport. The distant warship shimmered, engines glowing. They will learn fear before they comprehend it. Some will survive. Some will not. Instinct is the first lesson, understanding comes after. And I am the teacher. Threx watched, rapt, as Eron's shadow stretched across the deck. Even the enhanced predators on this ship, all of them, obey him without thought. He is the apex of apexes. Eron's voice softened, almost to the stars themselves. Let the galaxy remember what humans were. Let every predator, every hunter, feel the weight of instinct once more. And let history recognize that prey, when perfected, becomes predator beyond imagining. The medbay hum deepened, the hull of the ship vibrating with a pulse that seemed larger than machinery. Every life form aboard, the engineered beasts, the alien crew, felt the subtle inevitability of what had returned. Humanity was no longer a myth. Humanity was alive, aware, and in command. Rel exhaled slowly, glancing at his companions. Then we prepare, he said quietly. For what comes next? Eron stood at the center of the bay, calm and unyielding. The Syndicate warship's shadow approached closer, engines screaming, but no weapon fired. Every predator on deck and beyond instinctively knew the first prey had returned, and the universe would never forget. The stars reflected in his dark eyes, silent witnesses to a resurrection that had waited millennia. He whispered to no one in particular, yet every being aboard felt it. Let them remember. Let them fear. Let them understand the truth of humans. The galaxy waited, trembling, as the echo of extinction became the pulse of a predator reborn.